Ladies and gents, welcome back. So, Canadians will never cease to amaze me at the cleverness when they're put in the position where they're not allowed to do something. They'll do something else and fight back in a sarcastic, clever way. So, recently in Ottawa, they're making it very difficult for people to get fuel to their trucks at the protest, and started arresting people who were trying to bring fuel down to the truckers. So in response, we have here one of the greatest trolls in history will take place tomorrow. If you live in Ottawa, grab a jerry can and join the party. Everyone is going to be walking around with one in protest. You don't need gas, just the jerry can. So everyone's going to be walking around like this exactly. And it already started yesterday before the sun even went down. This is the scene in Ottawa. And what do the police do? What do you do to that? If everyone's walking around with a jerry can, and they're not saying to bring gas, they're saying don't put any fuel in them, just carry the can, or put water in it, put whatever you want in it. And immediately in the evening, when you can single certain people out because the crowds are thin, we already started to get cases where people started getting harassed by the police. Here's one such case.
No, they're okay. So we came here with a symbol of to protest with jerry cans, and those two are brand new, filled with water. And thank you very much. Those are two brand new, filled with water. Mine's over there.
You brought a jerry can with water.
It is a 20. No, that's a 25 liter. It had gas in it in the past, and now I filled it with windshield water. I didn't want a frozen thing. I'm a snowmobiler and with other.
Yeah.
I don't want to
give you a file number.
So they took it from
What's
you?
the file number?
Well, for an unlawful search and seizure, did they not give you any?
No, but did they take the?
Their tape. That's apparently no longer my can.
Okay. So
Yeah.
is it got fuel in it, or is it got?
Sorry?
It's got fuel in it.
Windshield washer. I didn't want anything freezing in it, so I just put windshield washer.
Buddy,
Okay, good stuff.
it's being documented. They have to.
So there you have it, folks. People trolling the police. I mean, there's nothing more Canadian than that. It reminds me of a story that I heard when I was a kid. So I grew up in Windsor, Ontario, and that's I don't live there now, but I grew up there. And there's a story about during the War of 1812. The troops on the Canadian side were really low in numbers, and the troops on the American side, they looked like they had a formidable force. And for those that know history, in 1812, the United States and what was a British colony, Canada, were having a war at that time. And so one of the leaders, lieutenants, generals, I don't know what you would call him, on the Canadian side, he ordered his troops, because they had a barracks right at the front of the water, right at the waterfront where the Americans could see them perfectly. And they had this barracks, this building where it had double doors in the front and double doors in the back. So he ordered his 100 troops that he had to double file, walk out the front door and move to the side and walk around the building, walk right back in the back door and come right back out the front and just keep doing that all day long. So he did that, and the generals were looking over from the Detroit side, and they're looking and they're like, holy cow, there's thousands of them. And they called off the invasion that they were planning. And that's the good old Canadian way of trolling your opponents to make them think something that isn't actually the case. So good on you, boys. Lots of fun. Keep it playful, keep it peaceful, and above all else, keep on trucking.